Human biological diversity is sometimes manifested by exceptional anatomical variations that challenge our certainties about physiology. These 10 individuals, through their resilience and uniqueness, illustrate the human body's capacity for adaptation in the face of the rarest and most surprising medical conditions. Number 10. Claudio Vieira de Oliveira, cervical inversion. Claudio Vieira de Oliveira has become a global figure of perseverance due to an extremely rare condition known as congenital arthrogryposis, which resulted in a severe malformation of his spine and limbs. His most striking feature is the backward tilt of his neck, which positions his head in a completely inverted manner relative to the rest of his body. Far from being limited by this inverted perspective of the world, this man from Brazil developed unique methods of locomotion and technological interaction, using his feet and mouth to accomplish daily tasks. Professionally, he has established himself as a renowned motivational speaker and writer, proving that cognitive integrity and willpower can compensate for major structural limitations. His existence is a case study on the functional plasticity of the human being, demonstrating that anatomical structure does not necessarily dictate an individual's degree of independence or social success in modern society. Number 9. Wang Chunkai, extreme neurofibromatosis. Wang Chunkai, nicknamed in international medical literature for the severity of his condition, suffers from an extremely aggressive form of neurofibromatosis, a genetic disease that causes the proliferation of benign tumors along the nerves. In his case, the pathology manifested as a massive facial tumor growth weighing more than 20 kilograms, which caused a profound structural deformation of his face and hindered his basic vital functions. The constant weight of these growths imposed untenable pressure on his cervical spine and considerably limited his mobility. Thanks to a series of complex surgical interventions aimed at reducing the tumor mass, Wang was able to regain a significant quality of life. His journey illustrates not only the extreme challenges linked to rare genetic diseases, but also the advances in modern reconstructive surgery that allow for the restoration of dignity and functionality in patients whose conditions were once deemed incurable or fatal in the long term. Number 8. Joseph Williams, Life Without a Jaw and the Triumph of Integration. Joseph Williams presents an anatomical condition of absolute rarity, identified as orofacial syndrome, characterized in his case by the total absence of a lower jaw from birth. This fundamental structural malformation imposes permanent physiological challenges, particularly regarding the management of the upper respiratory tract, swallowing, and verbal communication. To compensate for the absence of conventional speech, Williams uses a sophisticated combination of sign language, writing tools, and digital technologies to integrate into the social fabric. Nutritionally, he depends on a specialized feeding system, but these constraints have never slowed his ambition to lead a fulfilling life. Professionally, he has distinguished himself in the field of music, notably as a drummer, demonstrating exemplary motor coordination. His personal life is equally remarkable. His marriage and the founding of a family testify to a successful socio-affective integration, breaking the barriers of aesthetic perception. The case of Joseph Williams is a powerful demonstration of how the human spirit can transcend major structural absences. It highlights that human communication does not rely exclusively on phonetics, but on a deep will for connection and exchange, making him an example of psychological resilience in the face of a physical difference that, to many, would seem insurmountable. Number 7. Godfrey Baguma, Transforming Atypicality into a Vector for Success. Godfrey Baguma, originally from Uganda, possesses an atypical facial and cranial structure resulting from a rare medical condition that altered his bone growth from childhood. Although his appearance initially exposed him to malicious curiosity, he demonstrated exceptional emotional intelligence by transforming this biological difference into a strategic asset in the entertainment industry. Known by his stage name, he has built a versatile career as a comedian, singer, and actor, using his unique appearance to forge a strong and memorable public identity in a competitive cultural market. His journey is exemplary from a sociological point of view. Instead of suffering exclusion, he chose to appropriate conventional beauty standards to subvert them to his advantage. His financial success and international notoriety demonstrate that a major physical anomaly, when managed with humor and artistic talent, can become a powerful personal brand. Godfrey Baguma does not merely entertain. He acts as a social catalyst that forces the public to reconsider their prejudices about physical appearance. His private life, enriched by a large family, completes this picture of an existence lived to the fullest, proving that true charisma resides in personality and the ability to transform biological adversity into an opportunity for social and cultural distinction. Number 6. Zion Clark. Athletic excellence despite caudal regression syndrome. Zion Clark was born with caudal regression syndrome, a rare congenital malformation resulting in the total absence of the lower part of the spine, and, by extension, the lower limbs. This anatomical configuration, which would limit the mobility of most individuals, was the starting point for Clark's extraordinary muscular and athletic development. By focusing on the musculature of his upper body, he developed Herculean strength and agility that allow him not only to move with staggering speed on his hands, but also to compete against able-bodied athletes in demanding disciplines such as high-level wrestling. An official world record holder, notably for the speed of manual movement, Clark has become a global symbol of adapted physical performance. His motto, based on the total absence of excuses, is a philosophy of life that he spreads widely as a motivational speaker. His case is fascinating for sports science, as it demonstrates how the human body can compensate for the absence of major skeletal levers through maximal optimization of core and arm strength. Zion Clark does not just redefine the concept of disability. He establishes new standards for human potential, proving that psychological determination is the primary driver of all athletic and personal success. Number 5. Mehmet Özürek. Nasal hypertrophy as heritage and distinction. Mehmet Özürek acquired lasting international fame thanks to a peculiar genetic characteristic: the exceptional length of his nose, officially measured at 8.8 centimeters. This physical trait, though non-pathological, placed him at the extreme of human morphological variability, earning him a lasting place in world record books. Far from perceiving this prominence as an aesthetic defect or a social burden, Özürek always approached it with remarkable dignity, attributing it to a precious family heritage. Beyond the purely visual aspect, he claimed to possess superior olfactory abilities, illustrating a possible correlation between nasal structure and sensory sensitivity. His case is interesting from an anthropological point of view, as it shows how an unusual physical characteristic can be harmoniously integrated into an individual's identity without generating psychological distress. Until his passing, Mehmet Özürek remained a respected figure in Turkey and around the world, using his notoriety to promote a positive image of natural difference. His story serves as a reminder that beauty and distinction can reside in traits that the norm considers excessive, and that self-acceptance is the foundation of a serene and respected existence, even when bearing a physical attribute that defies standard facial proportions. Number 4. William Martin Sanchez Lopez. Mastering Ocular Protrusion. William Martin Sanchez Lopez, originally from Uruguay, possesses an extraordinary physiological ability that allows him to project his eyeballs out of their sockets to an impressive distance of 19 millimeters. This phenomenon, known by the medical term voluntary ocular protrusion, is made possible by a specific laxity of the connective tissues and exceptional mastery of the periocular muscles. Unlike certain thyroid pathologies that cause involuntary exophthalmos, Lopez's ability is entirely controlled and causes no permanent neurological or vascular damage. Discovered by chance during his childhood, this skill was perfected to become a spectacular visual performance, allowing him to secure an official world record. Now based in Italy, he has been able to capitalize on this anatomical singularity to become a global media phenomenon, particularly on social media, where he accumulates millions of views. His case offers a fascinating perspective on the elasticity of the human ocular apparatus and the capacity of the neuromuscular system to perform movements that fall outside the framework of standard biological functionality. For Lopez, what might be perceived as a medical oddity has become a lever for an international career, transforming an anatomical curiosity into a strong and lucrative personal brand in the field of visual performance.
Number 3. Francisco Domingo Joaquim. Facial elasticity and record-breaking mouth capacity. Francisco Domingo Joaquim is world-renowned for the extraordinary elasticity of his facial tissues, a condition that allows him to achieve a mouth opening of 17 centimeters in width. This anatomical specificity, which seems to defy the limits of skin tension and collagen resistance, allows him to insert bulky objects such as metal cans into his oral cavity in a spectacular manner. Originally from Angola, Joaquim rose to fame by participating in international talent competitions where his demonstration of mouth flexibility stunned physiology experts. While this ability may appear purely recreational, it testifies to a rare genetic variation affecting the elastic properties of the skin and masticatory muscles. On a socio-economic level, Francisco has been able to use this gift of nature to improve his living conditions and travel the world, proving that a physical anomaly, even the most unusual, can open unexpected doors. His case reminds us that the human body is not a rigid structure, but biological matter capable of extreme variations. By proudly bearing his title of World's Widest Mouth, Joaquim illustrates a form of joyful acceptance of difference, transforming a morphological peculiarity into a spectacle that celebrates the diversity of human forms. Number 2. Devendra Suthar. Polydactyly and functional adaptation. Devendra Suthar, a highly skilled Indian carpenter, was born with a genetic condition called polydactyly, manifested by the presence of 28 fingers and toes. With 7 fingers on each hand and 7 toes on each foot, his skeletal and peripheral nerve structure is significantly more complex than that of the average population. Far from considering this multiplication of limbs as a handicap, Suthar has pragmatically integrated it into his trade as a carpenter, where he claims that his extra fingers provide him with increased grip and precision for manipulating certain tools and materials. Although this condition imposes daily logistical constraints, particularly regarding footwear and hand protection, he refuses any corrective surgical intervention, preferring to maintain the trait that constitutes his uniqueness and pride. His case is particularly instructive for the study of neuroplasticity, as his brain has perfectly integrated the motor control of these additional digits, demonstrating the capacity of the central nervous system to adapt to non-standard peripheral configurations. In his social environment, Devendra is perceived as a man endowed with a special gift, illustrating how a visible genetic variation can be lived with harmony and professional utility, while challenging the definition of the optimal structure of the human hand. Number 1. Funky Matas, the body as a social archive. Funky Matas represents a unique case of intentional body modification where anatomy becomes a documentary medium. This tattoo artist has transformed the skin of his back into a historical record of celebrities, collecting more than 225 signatures from world-renowned personalities such as Will Smith or Michael J. Fox, which he then has permanently tattooed. This approach, which combines body art, celebrity worship, and artistic performance, has transformed his body into a literal living collection piece, earning him a world record. Unlike the medical conditions suffered by others, Matas's originality lies in his deliberate decision to modify his appearance to create a bridge between his own identity and global popular culture. His project highlights the evolution of the use of the human body as a space for artistic and social expression, where skin no longer serves merely as a biological barrier, but as a narrative canvas reflecting the interactions and significant encounters of the individual with the media world. Number 11. Moment of unforeseen cases. These two images have triggered numerous reactions on social media. On the left, a man presented as a survivor of an accident reportedly lives today with a significant portion of his skull damaged. Some point to an exceptional medical case, while others remain cautious regarding the available information. On the right, a woman described as having a rare anatomical peculiarity also raises questions. Between the hypothesis of an unusual medical condition and the possibility of a modified image, no official confirmation has allowed the facts to be established with certainty. Ultimately, these life paths illustrate that physical singularity, whether it be the fruit of genetics or personal choice, does not limit human fulfillment. These individuals, through their courage and authenticity, transform our perceptions and celebrate the inexhaustible richness of the bodily experience.